Well, that was one-way traffic if you've ever seen it. A 90-point demolition. Sydney at the SCG under the bright lights, honouring the greats of 205, and they served up a lifeless performance that would have had the Sydney 05 class tearing its hair out. Meanwhile, the Crows continue to look ruthless, a little bit polished, and they're starting to be united. And if you weren't convinced by the mighty Crows before, you should start paying attention. Let's get into what was a classic game for everything Adelaide at the SCG. Final score being 21 goals, 5, 1-3-1, defeating Sydney 5 goals, 11. This was a murder by the Crows in every sense of the word. 12 unanswered goals across the first half. Sydney fans reduced to cheering behinds. It got that bad for them. Adelaide had 14 individual goal kickers and never once looked like they were out of sync. Ben Keays and Rochelle having 3 each, but the spread of contributions is absolutely frightening. And defensively, they're starting to get going. Mark Keane, 23 touches, 15 intercepts, 8 intercept marks, and 14 1%ers. He is becoming a brick wall, and he still hasn't got his best mate, Nick Murray, with him. Sydney, though, they look lost. They look soulless, and they look like they lack any form of identity. Let's deep dive. Pressure, execution, and spread. Adelaide Crows, 84 tackles, 348 disposals, 83 marks, versus Sydney, 83 tackles, 322 disposals, and 61 marks. On paper, pressure looked pretty even. In reality, it was nowhere close. Adelaide absorbed, they let Sydney come onto them, and they then exploded. The Swans, it felt recycled, panicked, and very fumbly. Even the pressure acts, 293 for Adelaide, they were cold, hard, calculated, and coordinated. 297 for the Swans, it felt misplaced, it felt frantic, it felt like they were chasing the game. Even from a structural point, it was a fascinating display where Adelaide looked the more mature side when, in fact, they were the more younger counterparts. They looked very solid, very strong, and very cohesive. Let's talk about inside 50s. 70% of Adelaide's shots resulted in a score in a goal versus 25% for Sydney. That is a difference. Adelaide made the most of every entry. Sydney resorted to bombs, high, useless. Warner's kicks in this game looked like they were designed to gain altitude, not score involvements. And let's talk about the structural changes. Ben Keays playing a negating role on Nick Blakey. 3 goals from Ben Keays. Blakey managed 11 touches this game, only 3 from kick-ins. Their back half ball movement at Sydney absolutely caused problems for them. They couldn't get any score launch, any jettison from any movement, and Adelaide's attack in a swarm. And let's talk about Isaac Cumming and Danny Curtin playing that high half-forward wing role. Class, size, they've really nailed that structure. Their ability to spread makes them so deadly in and around the stoppage, but also the way they move the ball. Let's talk about one of the big talking points. What the heck has happened with Sydney? This time last year, there was articles in the AFL and SEN comparing them to the great Essendon 2000 side. They were the unstoppable Bloods, unbeatable. Now they're 4-8, no direction, no system, and whatever that blood culture is absolutely disapparated. Dean Cox is under the microscope, sure, but it is his first year. But is this side really regressing that fast? When you look at this side from now to last year, really the big miss is Errol Goulden, definitely. But again, their key position stocks have taken a hammering and they look broken. The backline with Tom McCartan and co lacks any cohesion, and their forward half targets don't create any separation or lead to any pockets in space. They almost feel like they goal hang at times, and even when Joe Lamarty plays, it feels like he just wants to do his work in the goal square, doesn't want to get out there and try and create it. No Papley really does cause chaos in this system as well. And they have got players like Jesse Detoli to come in, who's doing very well at state level. But you look at this side, and it's not really maximising the outs. The depth is really clear that it is non-existent. And Nick Blakey and Chad Warner, both of them superstars of the game, but in real chaos at the minute, both very easily shut down at times. And Nick Blakey is a rebounding weapon. He has just gone off the boil. And Chad Warner, this could be one of the worst performances you've seen. 19 disposals, 21% efficiency, 0 hurt factor. At times, it looked like he was playing for Adelaide. Some of them bombs inside 50 looked like he was trying to work for Elon Musk and get the Starlink going. This side feels like it lacks soul, and there is no grit, no fight. They face Tigers next week, and if they lose that, the blowtorch could become a nuclear bomb. Talking point 2, are Adelaide Crows the real deal? Let's look at it. 14 individual goal kickers, 84 score involvements, 90-point win away at SCG. Okay, the Swans were bad, but I think you can safely say they are. They've been incredibly smart with their list build. You look at the trades they've brought in. Peatling, Neal-Bullen, Cumming, adding polish, flexibility and mongrel. Neal-Bullen, this game was sensational. 25 touches, 1 goal, 2 assists. Really a nice point of difference, particularly in that kind of defensive forward role, but also showing his attacking class as well. James Peatling is fast becoming my favourite player to watch play football. He is everywhere. He is like COVID. You don't think about it, but suddenly, bang, it's everywhere. 21 touches, 7 clearances, an absolute metronome of everything the Adelaide Crows do. And Isaac Cumming, quality name, 21 touches, 2 goals. And Dan Curtin, massive, mobile, matchup nightmare. What a draftee he is. He really brings it. And they're playing a style, in my opinion, that will do deep in finals. Massive spread of contributors, clean ball movement, high pressure. And they seem to do it week in, week out. They've got a real tough game next week against the Lions. That is a litmus test. It's more about the thinking sides that somehow can use their kind of cat and mouse game style against them. That is a real litmus test. Let's look at the standout performers. Adelaide, Mark Keane, 8 intercept marks, 23 touches, an absolute brick wall. He is really strong at the minute. Ben Keays, 3 goals. He owned Blakey at times, and he is an absolute solid player. His ability to find moments and take them is second to none. Josh Rochelle, Isaac Rankine gives this guy some of the best times, but some of the work from him in the forward half of the ground was sensational. That soccer off the ground to set up that goal, some of the best football you will see. Neal-Bullen, an absolute pressure beast, and James Peatling, both of these guys like a blanket in that mid-forward half of the ground, and James Peatling's work rate is second to none. Let's talk about Sydney. Brodie Grundy, he probably broke even in the ruck, but 35 hitouts, 20 contested. He is really back in a good vein of form at the minute. He tried so hard, really let down by his midfield trio at times. Isaac Heaney, he kicked the goal, no lift though, and he was like kind of a sole performer at the times. And James Jordan, what was going on there? Seemed to be tagging just about everyone. Saligo at times, Dawson at times. Really couldn't find a way to impact the game where he usually does. Let's look at some of the quick takeaways then. Riley Thilthorpe scored a goal with the sole of his boot. This guy is brilliant. Rankine shook off 2 tackles and set up a goal. Finals footballer personified. If you ever want to have a sure thing for best on ground in a grand final, Isaac Rankine will be in that calculations. Nick Blakey, when the midfield separates so much from him, he looked literally lost, and his defence has to come into account. He's a very good attacking footballer, but can you play Blakey and Lloyd in the same backline? Both of them look like the French in World War II. And Justin McInerney, 27 touches, 2 score involvements. It felt very stat-paddy at times. He really is a metronome of them trying to get their tempo going. And in this game, he looked lost. He didn't really get them going forward. Way too many sideway balls. It really looked hard to watch this game. Sydney at the moment, they're spiring. The Bloods culture needs a transition. Dean Cox is there and he has to put his imprint on this list ASAP, because at the minute it looks like they're in trouble. Adelaide, they announced themselves, and it's only going to get louder. This is a big win. Although it's against Sydney who are out of form, you've still got to keep them goals, and they look frightening when they're on. Brisbane next week, prime time. If they win that, we can start locking them in, if we haven't already, for top 4. Let me know your thoughts in chat. Can the Crows win this flag? Do you see them as contenders? And Sydney, how can they fix this? At the minute, they look broken, but there definitely is a repair. Smash that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. We're well on our way to 10k. I'll see you in the next one. Till next time, Pom out.